March Madness is upon us, and as the wife of a local basketball referee, I have a whole different perspective on the game when I'm sitting in the stands. And based on my perspective, it might surprise you to find out that referees aren't always highly revered and respected as the authority on the floor by the spectators in the stands. As a matter of fact, as much as I love my husband, sometimes after a really good game of closely matched competitors that was hard fought and finally won by either one free throw or a 3-point basket, after 2 or 3 overtime sessions, I walk a few paces behind him and his partners so people don't know we're together, but I do keep a watchful eye on him. Now back to the spectators. Why do you suppose it is that during a really fierce game, spectators may not have good things to say about some of the refs' calls? Perspective. On the floor, the referee is part of the game and is trained to know what to look for. That doesn't mean that they always get the call right, but it does mean that they have the training and experience that far exceeds the majority of those in the stands who are looking on from a completely different and somewhat removed perspective. The referees have the benefit of the lived experiences that come with years of serving as a basketball referee. Unless the fans in the stands have the desire to connect and understand the perspective of a referee, they do themselves a great disservice by not benefiting from a diverse perspective that can help to inform their own. There may be an action by a player on the floor that the fans in the stands did see that was precipitated by an action they didn't see, which the referee did see based on his or her perspective as being on the floor with the teams. Part of a referee's perspective that comes with being on the floor with the teams involves recognizing and ignoring a flop, which is an over-exaggerated move by a player that tries to make more out of a brush by another player when the other player falls out on the floor in an attempt to get a foul resulting in a free throw. Referees are trained to make calls based on how well the teams play the game and by discerning between a flop and a real foul. How well teams play the game is related to fundamentals and leveraging the diversity of strengths among all of the players. Remember that old acronym TEAM stands for Together Everyone Achieves More. Let's also recall that old saying that says a team is only as strong as its weakest link. Finally, we know that the most successful teams are comprised of people with diverse strengths that make everyone more effective in their role. Bear in mind that not everyone is designed to play every position and that everyone's 100% effort looks different depending on the situation they're placed in. One person's 100% effort might be here, another person's might be here, but that doesn't mean that they're not both bringing their very best. For example, we are in awe of Shaq's prowess as a big and not for his free throw percentage of 52.7%. Yet Shaq has 4 NBA championship rings. And it was for his performance and strengths as a big, a term referring to a power forward and center tasked as the team's primary rebounder or shot blocker, with the center typically being the larger of the two positions. At 7 feet 1 inch tall, Shaq's strengths showed up in his skills and abilities where he was needed, not for where he was not needed. In terms of diversity in teams, we must always remember to value people for who they are and not discriminate against people for who they are not, based on our assumptions, interpretation, and limiting beliefs about the perspectives of others. Hopefully, you can make the linkages to the sport of basketball and the workplace, the different perspectives and lived experiences of referees and your coworkers, and diversity of strengths that are necessary for team members to show up as their whole self and play the role that they've been assigned to the best of their ability. And if I haven't made those linkages clear, we'll have a chance to do that when I talk with my Allies in Action crew about how their diverse perspectives on the teams that they are a part of are either held against them by the fans in the stands, who may be other team members, or how their diverse perspectives and strengths are seen as valuable. Then, in my lived experiences segment, I'll be talking with Maurice Orr, a basketball referee and host of a basketball podcast, to hear his thoughts on the perspective of fans in the stands and what has helped him to stand firm in the calls that he makes on the floor and in life as a man of color in the basketball arena. Finally, in my Real Conversation segment, I'll be talking with subject matter expert Otis Boyles, another basketball referee and influential member of the 100 Black Men of Orange County, to talk a bit about the NFL head coach controversy and what, if any, similarities he sees in the world of basketball relative to the number of head coaches of color. Please plan to join me every Saturday in March. I promise we'll have a ball. Until next time, this is Dr. Anita reminding you to stay blessed and keep it real.